Hi, and welcome to another 3 and Out segment presented by Comerica Bank. I'm Dannie Rogers, and we are getting the opposing view heading into Week 14. Lions going on the road to the Denver Broncos. And with that, we bring in Sydney Jones, the digital team reporter for the Denver Broncos. Sydney, this Broncos team, after a bye week, comes in, gets a resounding win over the Chargers, and then last Sunday, they fall to the Kansas City Chiefs 22-9. They are still in the wild card race. However, what mentality is Vic Fangio's team going up against the Lions now with?
Yeah, Danny, Sunday's loss to the Chiefs, like you mentioned, was a really big one. You know, this team, they had the opportunity to break an 11-game losing streak to Kansas City and slide into first place in the AFC West. But despite it being such a defeating loss, I mean, this team is responding really well this week. Like you mentioned, the playoffs are still in reach here, and that's what this team is really holding on to. That's where the drive is coming from this team. You know, one of our captains, safety Kareem Jackson, he spoke to the team in the locker room after the game and told the guys that everything is still in front of them. I mean, we have 5 weeks left in the season, with most of those being against division opponents. And he said they need to play each game each week like it's going to be a playoff game. And that's really the mentality moving forward here. And that starts this week going up against the Lions.
Going back to that Kansas City game real quick, Broncos only putting up 9 points on the scoreboard. So offense stalled out a little bit. Where does the spark plug need to go in order for the Broncos to get that scoring back up?
Yeah, Danny, I think overall the offense just needs to be more consistent. I mean, just looking at the past 4 games alone, Denver comes out, has a huge 30-point win against the Cowboys, then falls at home to the Eagles. Like you mentioned, a big win against the Chargers, then with another loss to Kansas City. I mean, this team point blank needs to score more offensively, limit turnovers, and get off to faster starts. I mean, the Broncos, they came out with 2 consecutive 3 and outs to start the game on Sunday, allowing the Chiefs to jump ahead 10-0. I mean, in recent weeks, the run game here has been really great and is working really well, but the offense hasn't been able to get into a rhythm in their passing game. And even head coach Vic Fangio, you know, he was asked earlier this week how they can establish that rhythm and mentioned, you know, just marrying the run game a little more and limiting penalties. So I think if they can get back into that rhythm like we saw earlier in the season, they'll get that spark back.
Defensively, the Broncos rank pretty high up there in almost every category, especially the pass and the rush defenses. So how reliable is this Broncos defensive side of the ball right now?
Right. I mean, for the most part this season, Danny, the Denver's defense has been really consistent. And like you mentioned, they have been really reliable. I mean, they've kept the team in the game on multiple occasions and have made really great stops. I mean, just looking at this past weekend against the Chiefs, the defense held Patrick Mahomes to only 15 completions and kept him without a touchdown pass. I mean, Mahomes finished the night with a career worst 57.2 rating. And on top of that, I mean, Tyreek Hill, he only had 2 catches for 22 yards. And Travis Kelce, another highlight in their offense, 3 catches for 27 yards. I mean, and that was with it being in Kansas City and the Chiefs coming off their bye week. And this defense has been playing really well. And it's not a defense that I would overlook if I were the Lions.
Similar to here in Detroit, the rookies are really starting to make a name for themselves. It's the same in Denver. You have Javonte Williams, who's patrolling the run game, leading that team in rush yards. And then you have Pat Surtain and Caden Stearns, who's patrolling that secondary. So how dominant are these rookies in their introduction year to the league?
Yeah, Danny, I truly can't say enough good things about this rookie class. I mean, general manager George Paton did a fantastic job in his first draft as a GM. 6 of his draft picks have become starters this season and have dominated. Like you mentioned, starting with the 2 obvious ones here, cornerback Pat Surtain and running back Javonte Williams. I mean, Surtain, he's had a great past 2 games. He's recorded 3 interceptions in the past 2 and has allowed 0 touchdowns. I mean, one of those interceptions was a pick 6 against the Chargers, first of his career. He's certainly in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year and is someone, if I were Jared Goff and company, I would definitely keep my eye out on for. And then obviously, like you mentioned, Javonte Williams, he is just, I've never seen a back like him in the ability he has to break tackles. I mean, he does not go down on first contact ever. He is such a tough runner and has received so much praise throughout the season. And this past Sunday night, I mean, Melvin Gordon, he was ruled out on Saturday due to hip and shoulder injuries. So Sunday against the Chiefs was Javonte's first career start, and he certainly just didn't disappoint. I mean, he was a bright spot in this team's offense with 23 carries for over 100 yards. And then he also had 6 catches for over 75 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I talked to Javonte following that loss, and he mentioned how much pride he does take in being so versatile in both aspects of his game like that. Now, Melvin Gordon, he is expected to return to practice at some point this week. So head coach Vic Fangio, he did say that he's going to wait to evaluate Melvin's health before deciding Javonte's role in Sunday's game. But regardless, Javonte is a huge threat to this Lions defense and is going to be someone who is going to have a very long and great career.
It's going to be a great matchup. Lions coming off of their first win of the season, and then, of course, the Broncos hungry to get another win under their belt. Like I mentioned, they are still in the race for a wild card spot. Lions head coach Dan Campbell, he's still looking to play spoiler for the remaining teams on this Detroit schedule. Okay, Sydney, thank you so much for helping us out here on 3 and Out. We can't wait to come to your city.